Okay, second perek, take it away. Isha shenit armala. So this woman who's a widow, or sheniskarsha, or there's girushin, she's megarish. So again, there's two ways that a woman can get her get or can separate from her husband, either with the death of the husband or with a get. So we have the two ways represented here, and they're the two ways that she's going to get her get, that she's going to get her kesuva. So if she's a widow, then basically she can stay in the house of the estate, not collect any kesuva, and then when she gets married to the new guy who's going to take care of her, then she takes her kesuva. Or shiniskarsha, as soon as she gets the get, basically she has a claim on the kesuva. He omeres besula nisatani. So she says that you married me when I was a besula. So therefore she's claiming 200. So here's Rashi saying Tove Kusubasa. So these are the two ways in which she can get it. V'hu omer lo ki ila almana neseticha. So he says, no, I married you while you were a almana. Since you were an almana, I only owe you 100. So we have a din in Momen as to who gets paid what. So Aniskarshakai. So why is Rashi saying Aniskarshakai? Because obviously he can't say it. He can't return to her taina if she's a widow. If she's a widow, he's dead. If she's a widow, Bela almana hayarshin oimrin la. So she says, Almana niseichicha avicha ve'ein lecha elamana v'shtar hakasuva of it. So now we have to have a case where the kasuva is lost. So another case is you can have some places they don't write kasuvas and it's say maisa based in. So it's a maisa based in, so you're not going to have a kasuva, and they're just arguing you owe the kasuva. How much are you going to pay? So you really see here that it's the Yorshim that are saying it. Usually you'll have the based in are saying it for the Yorshim, because how are the Yorshim going to know? Maybe they do. So now who's mukzak here in the money, and what should happen in this case? The Baal's mukzak in the money. We saw in the Shev Shmaisa that the woman is mukzak in the money, but the Pasha says the man is mukzak in the money, and therefore, like what's happening with the Eidim. Now, again, she has a kasuva. So all the Shev Shmaisa is saying is that she has a kasuva. So both cases she has a kasuva. But so like how much is goiva domi? Because we're here at Masupak as to whether she has 100 or whether she has 200. So we don't know if she ever had a kasuva basula. Since we never know she had a kasuva basula, therefore she's only muksak in the 100. Even according to the Sheish Maisa. So the second 100, the Baal's muksak, because we don't know if she was ever had a besula kasuva. So imish edim sheyitza behinuma v'rosha perua kasuva sumayasayim. So behinuma v'rosha perua. So here we have these two things. Behinuma b'gemara mefarish, and there it's explained as some type of veil. She has some type of veil going on. Varusha Perua. We'll go back see that later. But Rusha Perua, the Pasha says her hair is uncovered. Her hair is going wild. It's wildly out there. So then the Kasuvas of Mayasayim. So these are things that a Basula gets married with. So you have Adim that remember that when she got married, all this stuff happened. So then she gets her Kasuv of 200, it's like an Adus. Now, therefore, if there's no Adim, then she doesn't get her 200, she only gets 100. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Baruka Oimer Af Chilo Kaliyas Raya. So for this Rashi here, Regilam Hayu Lechalek Kaliyos Letinokes Benisuyus Habasulos. So that the children would get these. Today would be candies, the bar mitzvah, whatever they throw the candies. But they had like the parched grains and stuff that the kids, there are the nuts or grains that the maybe it'll be those. What do the Israelis eat? The bird food. It could be that type of stuff, sesame seeds and that type of stuff. They're thrown. So the kids get that when a basula gets married. There seems to be a minhag that they give out this stuff. So therefore, if you have Adus that they were giving this stuff out, then she gets the 200. Now, Umoide Rebbe Yeshua, Now, why are we moide Rabbi Yeshua? We haven't been dealing with this. But oimer lechaveru sade zu shel avicha haisa. Now, this has nothing to do with the Reisha. This Seifa here seems to be completely different sugya. Velakachta hemenu, and I bought it from him. So this guy says, this guy is sitting on the field, and some guy comes over to him and he says, "Oh, hey Jimmy, did you know this was your father's field?" And he's like, "No, I didn't know it was my father's field." He says, "Well, it was your father's field, and I bought it from him." So shehu neman. So therefore, the guys on the field, A, is believed shepesha aser hu a pesha hitter, because the whole Rashi ze eno yedu shehayta shelaviv ela al piv shel zeh. So the whole taina only exists because of the first guy. Umasha aser hare heter. So whatever he's asering, he's matrin as well. So he says that it was your father's, and he also says that it's not your father's. Ve'im yesh edim shehi shel aviv. And if there's Adim that was his father, so therefore it's not the Pesha Aser, it's already Aser by the Adim. And then he says, I bought it from him, he's not believed without Adim. So that's the whole din of Pesha Aser, Hu Pesha Hitter. So again, if there's Adim that say it was his father's, it's not the Pesha Aser. So, Rashi here, Moide Rabbi Shua, Mefarsh B'Gemara, Ehechakai Uma Moide. So based on this Mishnah, we don't know what's going on. Kitzer, it says that we're going on our previous the previous missions at the end of the previous perek, but in this case we're moide. But this is a different case to the Reisha. So in the Reisha, klios kasha hoishoivin lachin, when you cook them when they are wet, then you dry them out in the oven, and they become parched, and they are fixed up, or they're sweet forever. So again, you're giving this to the kids. Now, what comes out of this Mishnah is this idea here, Verusha Perul. What does it mean that she's going around with her hair uncovered? So therefore we see that a Basula is walking around with her hair uncovered. Since the Basula is walking around with her hair uncovered, therefore it's a raya that she gets her 200. So again, we have Adim that she had her hair uncovered, therefore she gets 200. So, it seems Pasha from the Mishnah that a Basula can have her hair uncovered. So question number 1 is does an almana allowed to have her hair uncovered? So just from this Mishnah. Well, l'chora has to be no. Because how do we know if he says that you are an almana, and she says, I was a basula. How do we know if she's a basula? You have Adim that says her hair was uncovered, because her hair was uncovered. Therefore, if an almana goes with her hair uncovered, so therefore, it wouldn't be a raya. What about, and it's the same thing for, what about what about a ba'ula? A woman who is not married and she's a ba'ula. Does she have her hair uncovered? The ba'ula, seemingly from this Mishnah, because the ba'ula, here he's saying that it was a basula, and we only have 2 options here, basula or almana. We don't have ba'ula, but the kasuva of a ba'ula is 100, kasuva of basula is 200. So therefore, ba'ula, even though she's a penuya, so as soon as if a woman has had relations, she has to cover her hair. It's pashas of the Mishnah. What about Narusa? If a woman is Makadesh, does she cover her hair? Not yet. Why not? Huh? Yeah. So he is this woman who's getting nisuyin? Is she an arusa, or is before arusin? This woman. This it's after kedushin, and is her hair covered or uncovered? It's uncovered. It's uncovered. So yeah, no, she's claiming it's uncovered, even though I was in Arusa, since I wasn't Nisuya, and I still have it uncovered, even though it's after kedushin. So from here, Arusa doesn't cover her hair, but Ula does. Arusa doesn't, and a Basula does. A Basula has her hair uncovered. All good. Now, there's a second case where we talk about a woman getting her hair covered. Ve'elu, this is a Mishnah. What is this? Ayin base, Ayin Gimel, Ayin base Mishnah here in it's in Kesuva. Ve'elu yotze shelo b'Kesuva. So you can kick these women out without a Kesuva. You don't have to pay her Kesuva. Ha'averes el das Moshe ve'Yehudis. If she is over das Moshe and she's over das Yehudis. And what is it, das Moshe? She gives him food that's not Musar. So she's feeding him treif stuff or whatever. I mean, here it just says that's not Musar. So he's trusting her for the food, and now he's feeding her this stuff. And now he can kick her out without a mishtata nida. So again, he doesn't know. He thinks it's all good. She's purporting it to be kosher and feeding him treif, basically. She doesn't do the challah. That's terrible stuff, eh? She makes neders and she doesn't keep them. Now, Ezohi das Yehudis. So what's this das Yehudis? She goes out and her hair is uncovered. So if she goes out with her hair uncovered, then we see that you can kick her out without a kesuva. So Rosh Perua, so says the Gemara, how can you say that Rosh Perua is das Yehudis? So das Yehudis is some type of Jewish custom that the girls have taken on upon themselves. So I say here, you can't tell me that if she goes out with her hair uncovered, it's a custom of the Jewish girls. It's a deraisa din. Dichtev pura as roisha isha. So this is in the din of Saita. In the din of Saita, you menavel the woman. The Saita woman is menaveled, is made disgusting by uncovering her hair. The Tana de Bei Rabbi Yishmael as hara lebenos Yisrael shelo yitzi bepura roish deraisa. So therefore, we see that it is it's hara deraisa for the women to not go out with the pura. Now again, the saita. Now we have the deraisa din. The saita is a davka, a married woman. It's not an almana. It's not a ba'ula who's not married. All these other people, they don't have the din of having to have their hair covered. Deraisa. So deraisa, why not? No, but why can't you have an arusa if you have kedushin with her and you say to the arusa, don't be in yichud with that guy, and she was yichud with that guy, then she's a sota. So deraisa the kalta shapir domi. So whatever this kalta is, so some people refer to it as a type of mitpachet. Again, the mitpachet isn't like our mitpachet. Mitpachet is like a holy. You get like a hole, like those hair nets. It's like a net. Rashi says here it's a sal. Seishlo melamat base kibble. So you have like this thing with kind of holes in it. So deraisa, he's got to kind of cover it with this kind of chetzi covering. But das Yehuda is a fila kalta nami aser. But das Yehuda, the girls have been kabbaled upon themselves that the minhag Yisrael is that you do a better covering, and therefore you have to have a stronger covering. So we haven't seen the this Rashi yet. Now, for Rosh Perua, Rashi doesn't say, so whatever that is, her hair is on her shoulders. Her hair's on her shoulders. What does it mean her hair's on her shoulders? Why? Rashi's not saying her hair's uncovered, he says her hair's on her shoulders. Because this is, they had a minhag to take out the basulas from the house of the fathers to the house of the chatana. Now, before she comes out of the house of the basulas, is her hair onto her shoulders? Because he says here, lahoitzeis basulas of beis avihen, that's when they have their hair on their shoulders. When they take her out of the father's house and bring her to the chassid, because she's living at the father's house. So we're bringing out the basula from the house of her father to the house of the. She's living at the father's house, and then she lives there, whatever. She gets kedusha, and a year later she's been living at her father's house, and then she comes out of her father's house with this whole dancing and whatever. Goes to the chasana, and the whole town is singing and happy. So that progression from her father's house to the chasana, there her hair's on her shoulders. But Mashra and Rashi, that up until that point she doesn't. So Rashi just say her hair's uncovered. He says her hair's on her shoulders. So Shulchan Aruch, this is in Even Ezer. Lo tachana Benos Yisrael Peru is Rosh B'Shuk. The Benos Yisrael should not go with the hair uncovered in the shuk. Achas penua ve'achas eishasish. Whether you're a penuya, whether you're a married woman, you cover your hair once you're outside. And he says in the shuk. So in the shuk, you for sure have to have your head covered. Whether you're a penuya, whether you're a shasish. So the shasish, l'chayr, is muvan. We understand that a married woman has to have her hair covered when she goes to the shuk. But here he says a penuya has to have her hair covered. The hair of a woman, that it is her way to cover it, it's aser lekros kenegdo. You can't read, this is talking about Kriya Shema, you can't read Kriya Shema against it. So we're talking about here about Erva. What is the Erva? Now, just as an aside, the Rif does not bring down this din of singing or hair being erva, and when it says in brachas, because it says in brachas when what's the second perek when you can say Kriya Shema or not. The Rif doesn't bring it down. So the Ravid there explains saying that because it says that the buttocks are not erva, so kol shekain her hair and her voice are not erva, and then the Ravid rejects it. But l'chayra there's a shita that a woman's voice and her hair are not erva. Ayin Sham. But here, as it's brought down in Halacha and Shulchan Aruch, so therefore her hair is erva if it's her hair that she's want to cover it, and therefore you can't say Kriya Shema against it. So then the Ramah says even your wife. So if your wife has her hair uncovered, you can't say Kriya Shema. Also, seemingly you can't say, and then when it says Kriya Shema, it's like Kol Davar Shebekadusha. You can't say. He can't say kiddush. There's a shaila. There's a shaila. If a woman is at your Shabbos table, she doesn't cover her hair, right? Could even be a penuya. So far, a penuya doesn't cover her hair. Yeah, shedarka the kasoisa, and we're saying that a penuya has to cover her hair. So you have a penuya at your Shabbos table, and she's not covering her hair. Can you say kiddush? So according to here, since it's a darker to cover because the penuya is a darker to cover, so then it's a aser lekros connecto. Ifilu ishtai. So if a woman is scantily clad, or she's not covering her hair and she's supposed to be, you can't say kiddush against her. Aval besulus shedarchen leilech peruas arosh mutter. So now, so besulus. So since it's their way to go with peruas arosh, it's mutter. So here's a Ramah. V'huadin ha'sha'ir shel nashim. The hairs of women that they're regilim lekos mitoch letz mitan. So here the Ramah is saying that this is talking about like how much do you have to cover, and that the Rashba is it's really his pshat here in Kesuvos, that there's a type of holder for the hair. Then you have the hair covering, and then there's this holder for the hair that comes out of the hair covering, and you have bits of hair that comes out of there. So women have that have part of their hair uncovered, so that's mutter to have that's mutter to say Krishma against. The culture can sa'ar nachris, and for sure a wig, a filu darcha lekasois, even if that hair is what. So if you cut off your normal hair and then put it on your head or whatever, then this. If a woman is wearing a wig, you're allowed to say Krishma against the wig. What are they called? They're called shaitels. There you go, a shaitel. Now here's the shalis teshuvas panim me'iros. Here's your shaila. Call al basula shenivla. So there was a woman, and she had bia. This basula had bia, and the Rav wanted to force her to cover her hair with a sniff, right? With a here. So this is in the early 1700s. He was foster father of Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshkus. That's not Rabbi Yonasan Eibshitz. Anyway, here the 7 communities. That's like the 7 towns. So he had correspondence with Rabbi Kiv Eger, whatever. He was the outstanding authority of his generation. Anyways, it's the early 1700s. So he's talking about so this Rav wanted to cover it with her hair with a sniff because she was a ba'ula, right? She wasn't married. He wanted to force her to cover her hair. And that's what I answered with the time. I didn't have enough time to do this all. That he wanted to find a svara himself. What he's building a yisoid on the Gemara. This is our Mishnah. V'para roisha isha mikana zara lev benos Yisrael. V'rotza because loimer she'ein chiluk ben eishasish le penuya. So it wants to say that there's no difference between an eishasish and a penuya. So therefore, she's a penuya and she's a be'ula, and therefore, according to our Mishnah, then she should cover her hair. Yes, perek hamadir is what we saw about soita. But the Gemara says mikan azar le benos Yisrael. It says there's no difference. It doesn't say just benos Yisrael. It doesn't say married women. Akshenogu besulas leilech perus roish. Katesh yelehem heker. So that the besulas go perus roish, so they have a heker. But it's clearly Omer came. Ein davar zeb deraisa. Eichi kevu Yisrael min hagim neged das torasenu. Because if it was a deraisa din, how could we have a minhag keneged the das? Ubeemes. His svara, you'll see it, right? So his svara, you'll take to see it in the Shulchan Aruch. Ketav lo techlena b'Yis Yisrael perus roish b'shuk echad penua ve'echad eishasish. This is taka what the Shulchan Aruch is saying. He's bringing it down like that's the pshat in the Shulchan Aruch. Because if I tell you this pshat in the Shulchan Aruch, you're like, no way, that's not what he's saying. But here, Panamorsh is saying, yeah, taka, that's what the Shulchan Aruch is saying. When he says penuya has to wear the al hedin zeh gulfa kasha. However, at the moment it's any penuya, because he's saying that the basulas are going out. The basulas are going out. Peruvim is keneged. It's so that they have a heker, even though it's keneged thing. But that's taka what the Shulchan Aruch is saying. Eid ava gufa kasha eid deraisa eich basulas shalanu holchim perus rosh. If it's taka deraisa, how can our basulas go perus? And in kasuvas esmashlan shebismana Talmud, they would go out with their hair uncovered, as we said. Im Yetze ben Yehuna v'roish perua. That's a siman. She was basula. And also we see in Orach Chaim with Kriya Shema, he taka says v'chein basulas shedarchen leilach peruas rosh. Motzah l'Kriya Shema connectan. Right? Ve'im kain divrei Shulchan Aruch nira k'soishim zed zeh. So you have a stira between the two Shulchan Aruchs. The first one said that in Evan Ezer says that the penuis have to cover their hair, and in Kriya Shema he says taka basulas don't cover their hair. Ayin b'Magen Avram. Magen Avram is always the machmir. You have any machmir opinions, you're always going to see it's in the Magen Avram. Shehaskim de penuya lav deraisa u'besulas ein chashash nidnud iser. So with the besula, so penuya is not deraisa then. A besula, there's no chashash nidnud iser at all. and they can go out. The basulim can go out without the hair. With Rav Hem Yesed, it's a peg. It's a in the ground shalot tamot that won't move. The imkain zichinu ledin. The havi deraisa havi mitzvah elin lokoifa. If it was deraisa, we would have a mitzvah to force this woman to cover her hair, even though it's a lavachal asay. Who mikom kafina asay? We still do a kafia on asay. Umaken oisoy ad shetetze nafsho. So even for the asay, we still hit the person till they do it. As we see in other places, of Al-Kaven, the Nispara, the Penuya, Ein Kan Isra Deraisa. Since for the Penuya there's no Isra Deraisa, Ihachi Malanu Lahachnis Rishenu, Leilechimo Beglusa Lakofoto Shetikas Nes Roisha. So how are we we're not gonna force her to cover it since it's not a Deraisa. Then we can't go ahead and force her in Bishvil HaKasuva. If it's for the Kasuva, Halo Kola Noisa Isha, Boydek V'choikers. Everyone who marries the woman will see after her. And we'll see that since it's pirsum that this happened, that shizinta kol mashiyes el kasuva midaitahu. So we're saying that we should force her to cover her hair so she doesn't get a 200 kasuva, because maybe she'll give him a 200 kasuva. But if he wants to give her 200 kasuva, since the whole act is publicized, even if he gives her 200, that's called midaita. So that's basically the teshuvah. This rabbi wanted to force her. And he says, no, chas v'chalila, we're not going to force her. But again, there's this stira in the Shulchan Aruch that the Penuya is referring to even basula. So what you say about that? So therefore the Shulchan Aruch is referring to. Here the Penuya is referring to like Das Yehudis, and the Shulchan Aruch now in Even Ezer is referring to Deraisa, that the Basulim in our days go around. The Dogel Mervava. So Yafe Kavanu Haklakus Moika Kavaha Beishmul Dahayinu Almana Vagarusha. So here he's saying that when it says Penuya, says the Benos Yisrael with the Puros Rosh B'Shok Achas Penuya v'Achas Eishasish. So he's saying that the Beishmul and the Chalkus B'Choykek, again they're the Meforshim on the Shulchan Aruch on the sides, on the Rashi and Tosfos areas of the Shulchan Aruch in Even Ezer. So they both have, when it says Penuya in the Shulchan Aruch, it's referring to an Almana v'Gerusha. V'hu medivrei Yerushalmi the Kesuvos v'Rusha Perua v'chash loimer shema besula min nesuyin hi. Maybe you think that she's a besula from nesuyin and therefore she'll get a 100. So semeres besula min nesuyin eina yotzes v'Rush Perua. So basula from the Nusuyin, that's Almana. She doesn't go out with uncovered hair, so therefore you have an Almana has to cover her hair. Ayin Sham, Bagam, Misham Raya, Degam Ba'ula. Afiloloni says that Dayan Klal Eina Rishis, let's say Barosha Perua. So if she's a Ba'ula, then she has to cover her hair if she's a Ba'ula. Shemihaksha Sham, Vishem Moiketz Eitzi, Kirby Mer, Kasuva Me'atayim. Kasha. Maybe she's still a ba'ula. So she doesn't have the basulim. What with muka 8 in the ba'ula? Eila vaday ba'ula barush perua. So the Dogo Mervava saying that the almon and the gerusha are aser, and the ba'ula is aser. So we saw in the Panameros that the Penu is not deraisa. Yes, we can't force her. But here the Dogo Mervava, the almana and gerusha are aser, and the ba'ula is aser. But then you'll have the Penuya, the Basula is mutter. Shita Mikubetzes, Varosh Perua, Perush Hayu, Mefarin Roisha Basula, the Hashbiach B'Sha'ara, that they would reveal her hair, they would let it go to shpicha, to show her the greatness of her hair. The Rebbe Shmuel Zal, the Rosh Perua perish magula. So Rosh Perua means it's uncovered. It's revealed. The kacha yunahoigin lebesula velola almana. It's for the besula, not an almana. So the besula's mother, almana's also. The high damrin pura is rosh ha'isha, and then we say that we para the rosh ha'isha v'tanei Rabbi Shmuel mikanazar lebos nisra shaloitze purei rosh. That's all in the case of soita iklamemar benesuis kamairi. So again, that's in the because we have benois Israel. Seems like every Jewish female. So again, here shita mikubetzes is pasula is mater nomana zaser. So it doesn't seem to be so far much heter for the almana to not cover her hair. So Mishnah Berurah, this is the basulis. It's in the Shulchan Aruch. So again, the Shulchan Aruch says that the basula goes off with her hair uncovered. The basulis arusas, if she's an arusas leilech asurus leilech begili harush. Says in Mishnah Berurah, an arusa, if she's a basula, even though the basulas go, she's an arusa, she's also to go with her hair uncovered. V'hu din basulas shenivlu, and that's also the din of the basulas shenivlu, that a ba'ula has to cover her hair. Tzarkin lekasos harosh, u'mikomokom im zinta ve'ein aroitze, let's say spetzif, harosha kederach hanashem ein yachol lakoifa. You can't force her to do it. And that, again, in the Shartzion, he says panim me'iros. So the Mishnah Berurah is using our panim me'iros to say that you can't force her. But the Iker Din, the Mishnah Berurah, is that a basula, she has to cover her hair. A ba'ula, she has to cover her hair. So yeah, sorry. We have the basulas arusas. So the arusa has to cover her hair, and the ba'ula has to cover her hair. Yeah. So as soon as you hit an arusa, you have to cover her hair. And obviously, we had the question from our Gemara. What's going on in our Gemara? That she is an arusa and her hair is uncovered. So how can we now turn around and say, oh, that an arusa is able to cover the hair? Magan Avraham. So Basula Shadarkan. So again the Basulas go. So Lo Techlan Basnus Yisrael Perus Roish Bashuk. There's Panuya and with this Naishasish. That's the Shulchan Aruch. So this is him coming to Orachayim, referring to what he says in Even Ezer. We can't cause of a Rambam. But oh, the Iba Kasuvos in the Savim Yetze Behanima Varosh Perua Zehu Siman Shaisa Basula. That was the siman that she had her hair uncovered. That was the siman she had basula. But doichek loimer de penuyis to katani hani almana. It's doichek to say. You can't say that the basulas, the penuyis is an almana. The imkain have a leferush. The Shulchan Aruch should have said over there in Even Ezer. Why is he saying penuyis if he means garusha and almana? The ishloimer de perua roish de chativ by Even Ezer hayinu shesoisros kloyis sharon v'hochis b'shuk. Right? Look at this. That you have. That they're soiteris the kaliya, that they have the braiding of the hair and they go in the shuk. Dezeh aser afilu penuya. So when you have you have the braided hair, and when you break the braided hair, so the braided hair, the hair's all together, so it's not covered, but it's not loose. It's all tight, and it's not going everywhere. As if you have those ads for Budweiser or whatever, and the girl has her hair flying all over the place as she picks her hair up and her hair is going all over. So if you have it in a tight clear, when it's all braided, the hair is all braided, so therefore the hair is a lot less alluring. So where it says that they can't go out with the Rosh Perua, it's where they break their braided hairs and they go in the shuk. Dezeh aser, because that's aser. Even for a penuya, and again he says penuya, that's talking about everybody, not because it can't talk about an almana because he should have said so. So even a penuya, according to the Magen Avraham here, even a penuya is not allowed to go to the shuk with her hair flying out. She needs to have it braided. Yes. Yes. Now, where do we see this idea? V'chein perish Rashi. Perish nosa al para rosh ha'isha mekom mekom. Tzarech lomer de penuya lo mystery midaraisa. We have to say the penuya is not also deraisa. As we have if you ever look back in the Rashi here, see what's rosh perua sha'ara al kasfei, that she has her hair on her face, so she can have all her hair covered because she's a penuya. She's a penuya. So her hair has to be covered. Every time she goes out, she has to have her hair braided up. And now she's going to the wedding. She's allowed to have her hair goes to her shoulders, so she's allowed to have it out, but she still has like some type of covering higher up. And they would only be noihek this to go from the house of their father to the house of to wherever they're having the wedding. Because there's like a סימן for the, and this is not an Isra Deraisa. They're not having her hair completely free and covering, and even as the Magen Avraham is saying here, it's Punui lo Misra Deraisa dim tema dekro Iri gam Punuya im ken gam begilo hirush tia osr leilach de mehaka yalfinan bekasuvas perek zayin shlo techana belos Yisrael begilo hirush ila korcha kro lo Iri be Punuya raksha midas tzniosi lebasulas shlo leilach kach. So therefore, for the wedding, you're allowed to have it a little bit hanging out as a סימן, but the rest of it is still tied up or is still covered. Right. So we have So if you have a look in the Mishnah, look what it says: Behinuma the Rosh Perua. So if we go according to Rashi, she's got this veil on her head, and then the bottom of her hair, under the veil, her hair can stick out a bit. But she has it covered, and now so that's only for the wedding. Now according to the Magen Avraham, now again, this is a shittas, again, the Magen Avraham is l'chumra, but according to the Magen Avraham, then a basula is not allowed to go out to the shuk with her hair flying. Sure, her hair has to be braided, and so there's minhagim in the frummy parts, probably in like Ramot Dalet or something. The girls will go out with their hair braided. They're not going to have her hair flowing because they're machmir here, like this idea in the Magen Avraham. So again, we saw other opinions saying this mutter, and the Mishnah Berurah doesn't bring down the Magen Avraham. The Mishnah Berurah says besulas arusas and besulas beulas. But here, any penuyas in the Magen Avraham here, this is the Shalis Shuvas of the Mahari Halevi, I think is what the brother of the Taz. K'moshe goes of a Rashba, and it's the Shuvas. The Hatas Danan and Kesuvas. But Oivers al Das Yoitze B'Rosh Perua. Again, this is in Soita. Hainu Davka B'Regila Lekach. That's only if you're Roga B'Kach. If I lost us Lekach B'Akrai, you're only doing it every now and then. Pama Chas B'Vad. Misham Teleka Isura Ela B'Miskemes Le Perutzas. Now again, in the case of the Soita, we're kicking her out without a kasuva. So she lost her right to have a kasuva. So there the Rashba, he's bringing the Rashba, and he's saying that it's only if she always does it. If she does it once or twice, it's not. She doesn't lose her kasuva. The Gemara in when it talks about that, she said that if you're over das Yehudis, you lose your kasuva. So Deraisa, the married woman has to cover. But he said here, when we're talking about you're kicking her out without a kasuva, so that's only where she has a kavana for pritzes. Where she has the kavana for pritzes, she loses it. But she goes out once or twice without her hair uncovered, she doesn't lose a kasuva. So when she the pritzes, and her kavana is to be over all das Yehudis, even though over there were married in kasuva, shalas v'yeda b'kach. Anyway, nevertheless, it's mochek the leka iser upritzes b'kach. So even though, okay, so we have one din of base din who gets the kasuva. We also have the din of is this priestess is it osir, is it priestess bakach? Who says every now and then it's mutter. Lahashta atishaper hatikatani sheitza behenuma v'rosh perua. V'lokatani lehedia or rosh perua. Ila detarti bahadikatan nahagi. They would do both of them. That was the minhag to do both of them. Shahani mu'uma kisa katsas sha'ira roisha v'katsas hanishar hanicha al kafteya. So that some of it is covered, and then the rest of it is loose on her shoulders. But Eis Hahi Kefiyah Minhag. It's only in that specific time that she will go out to the chasana according to the minhag. Because if you go out once or twice without your hair uncovered, that's okay. So it's not like an iser like a dekach. But no, because it's only if you're over the das Yehudis, and you go out like that. Yeah, Gavno hu katav harosh yetze perua harosh biyom harishon achar chuppah. So the Rosh would say that she would go on the first day after the chuppah. Aval kol yimei iruseya iser letzeis befrus harosh. You see there, but when she's an arusa, she's also to go perus harosh, as we see. It's going to first maybe Perish Rashi could have now, as he said above. Yeah, so I mean the ikr of an arusa we saw. This is coming from that Teshuvah. Rabbi Kiveger says, "You can have a nishma da al kopanim ikr adin ein isr bekach." That's on the arusa. Aval fi chalokah shel Mary Levi Medina Hanal Medina also. So you were talking about kiddush acha penuya in materis leilach b'shar megula. So in the arusa, the ikar din and isr bekach. However, we've seen many people that are osering such things. At the end of the Mary Levi, Yishlomer de Tanad Beri Shmuel, Agorcha Kai Akro. So this is in again by the Sota. Dechtevu Pararoi Sha'isha. Pararoi Sha'isha. So the pasuk says Ha'isha. The Ein Basula is Nikra Isha. Basula is not called an Isha. Aval Isha ben Nisuyin ben Penuya Shaykh ba Shapir Kro de Pararoi Sha'isha. But when she's the woman, whether she's married, whether she's a penuya, therefore you have the posuk. And mishum hachi aser hatur afle penuya kagon almana or gerusha. So you have the isha would be an almana or a gerusha, but not if you haven't been married already. That's the din the Torah. According again, this is the brother of the Taz. V'teida de itema de tanan berishum aser af lebasula penuya kasha mana leila melev hachi de ha hai kro kasiv gabi soita devade ena basula penuya. You can't have a soita as a basula penuya. So, again, the Ikr Din is, as you've seen, so a Basula Panuya, there are those, so again, you can go from that they have to have their hair braided, they're not allowed to have their hair flowing, or you can say, yeah, flowing is no problem. You have the Arusa. The Arusa is, again, a Maklokas if it's the Ikr Din. So again, if you get married, so the woman will have her veil. Even the veil will be enough anyway, because like the minhag, we've had the minhag even where it's also in our Mishnah, where it's also to have the woman. We're saying that Rashi, or at least the way that the Magen Avraham is understanding Rashi, that this Panu is not allowed to have her hair uncovered, but they have, because and the Rus has to have her covered, but she has a kind of veil on, and then some of her hair is uncovered. So in general, that's how women who get married are. So she doesn't have to have her hair properly covered when she makabels the ring, because she makabels the ring under the chuppah and then goes to the yichud room, and the yichud room is the ikr nesuyin. Now after the yichud room, really she really has to cover her hair. Now again, it could be the Rosh brings down that on the first day of the wedding she doesn't cover her hair in order to mechabeb her to her husband, but then rejects it. But there is such an idea out there. So some people don't do a proper yichud room until after the wedding, because if you do a proper yichud room before straight from the chuppah to the yichud room and then dance all night, she has to dance with her hair covered, according to Meikar Adin. So again, we have seen some heterim which you can have from there, either cover it partially, wear the veil, or if it's a cry, it's okay. But Meikar Adin, she has to have her hair covered. So don't do a proper. So if you don't do a proper. Yeah. However, the Adim tend to be drunk at the end of the night, so you have to find sober. Teetotalers are easier to find these days, but you gotta identify your teetotalers beforehand. You can't just say, oh yeah, your best mate will be your aide, because he'll be pretty sloshed by the time it's time to be an aide. So then you can rely on Meikar Adin, says the Rebbe Kiveger, Meikar Adin, the Arusa doesn't need to cover her hair And again, so she'll either have a type of veil or she'll just take it off because she doesn't want to dance in her veil. But me, so l'chayr mikra den the Rusa doesn't have to have it. And again, before we get Rashi again doesn't really say that per rush is that her hair is uncovered. It's just bits of her hair are uncovered. There are other shitas that Mishnah. No, it seems like it's coming down to her shoulders. I would understand it. Not that it's not that. Yeah, but she still has that veil on. It's only for a short period of time, and up until that point, she had her hair braided. And so this is special for the wedding. But again, it seems like Gittin and Almanas need to cover their hair, which it's a bit of a pain in the ass for a woman to do that. So a lot of them don't do it. I'm not so sure of the heter. Now, how much are you allowed to uncover? So it's a more cloak. So again, the Mishnah Berurah says she has to do it, but she can't force her because it's not. It's make her then. So the Magen Avraham aval bezohar pers naso hachmir me'od shelo yira shum sa'ar meisha v'kein roi linhog. It's fitting to have this hanhaga. So the Zohar says that don't uncover any hair whatsoever. So that's obviously the Machmir opinion. It's brought down in the Zohar. So whatever he's just saying, that's the opinion. Now in the Shas Shuvas, Moshe Feinstein, he brings down now. He starts off with the svara of you have a mitzvah. Para Rosh Ha'isha is a mitzvah on the Kohen to denude the hair of the sota. Now, if deraisa one hair is para Rosh and aser, so then the Kohen just has to show one hair and he's on the mitzvah. Now he takes it on his pasha that's not called para Rosh. The Kohen has a mitzvah to do para Rosh. So therefore, if he lifts up a tiny bit of her tichel, that's not called para Rosh. That's the mitzvah of para Rosh. And he says, "Vata she has to do Roiv. He has to reveal Roiv of the Rosh or hair. So therefore, Roiv of the Rosh or hair would be the deraisa din of para Rosh." But that's the deraisa din, and then we have the separate din of das Yehudis. So everyone's wearing their hair according to das Yehudis. So how is das Yehudis? And then he flips it to Gili writes an erva. How much of an erva is the erva would be a tefach. So how does a tefach work? So again, there's two ways to understand the tefach. You can have a megula tefach, or you can only have a square tefach. Like one tefach is allowed to be revealed of all your hair, or you have, or you can have a full tefach, like the whole way around your head. You can have a tefach. So v'chein ledina af shemin aroi sheyachmiru hanashim v'kasuska desaver hachasm cipher. Chasm cipher says basically you cover all of it. So it's fitting that the women will be machmir and cover all of it. Again, the Rashba says that the women were noiheg to have this kind of holder of her hair, that they're covering most of them. They have this holder and this hair coming out. And I think the Chasm Cipher, they have like hair coming down from their temples, but the hair that comes out, they would put the way they would put lime in it and like paste it on their heads. It talks about it in the Mishnah. So I don't really understand what type of fashion it is, but they would put things in their hair. So their hair isn't free. It's got stuff in it. So v'hoil v'yismei puma to goyin gadol kamoisus. So since the Chassan Sofer said it, it's fitting the women do it. Bein bedin rishon, bein bedin sheni, bedin hasheni ha'ika gam maila ditznius, and also you have the tznius of the women, the mechis shekasav ha dalgo marvava aval poshut Sheila haroitzes lahakel. So if the woman wants to be mekel, she wants to be mekel. B'shnei dinim ein lachashiven leoivers al das Yehudis chas v'chalila. You can't say that they're oiveres al das Yehudis chas v'chalila. Ve'ein lehmanea. You can't prevent them. Afilu l'tamachochem v'yira shemayim milinise isha kazu. From marrying a woman like this. So what's he referring to here? The woman's married, got divorced, and now she's a basula and she's not covering her hair. Seemingly, I don't know. She has this. She won't do it when she gets married. So even Tamachochem and Yerushalayim, if she won't cover her whole hair, it's not a problem. Imhi Yerushalayim u'medax b'mitzvahs balas midus. As long as you have these three things. So you're looking for these three things, says Moshe Feinstein. Aval hu rak erech beit atzbos, but it's only the length of 2 fingers. The goiva shehaponim hu erech beit tfachim. That's about 2 tfachim v'yeh b'tziruf pochus mitefach v'yoter surah. So in total, you get less than a tefach. So since the face width is about 2 tefachim, therefore if you go up half a tefach, so then half a tefach by 2 tefachim will come of about a tefach. So therefore we have a tefach. You're allowed to reveal a tefach square of your hair. So that's the ruling of Moshe Feinstein. That tends to be the most mekel. I mean the ikar adin again. The raisa, the ikar is roiv, and then any more than roiv. But then again you have what's das Yehudis. So that. Yeah, roiv has to be covered. It's a das. This is the das Yehudis. What's the das Yehudis? So das Yehudis would be 1 tefach square, a total area of 1 tefach. That is uncovered. A woman that wants to reveal up to 1 tefach, that's completely fine, completely inside the din. It's completely what the whole din. Yes. No. This is das Yehudis. Okay, so I've heard a lot of times about the Ben Ish Chai that says that since women in Baghdad don't cover their hair, therefore there's no din of women covering their hair. If you're in a place where people don't cover their hair, so therefore women don't have to cover their hair. I don't know if anyone's heard of anything like that. Huh? The Ben Ish Chai. That's what I heard him say. So this is Shailis Teshuvos of Rav Ovadia Yosef. So he's again we're talking about here la'asr loimer connectem different devarim sheba kedusha, because we're talking again here. Can you say kiddush in front of a woman who doesn't have her hair covered? So the kain pasuk be'emes hagrech nevavel b'sefer Ben Ish Chai. This is his lashon. Shar shel isha shedarka lekasoisai. So the woman, you have to cover it. Asr lekros krishma or letapel, you can't do. Tefila connecto, even your woman, even your wife. But it basulas that it's a way to go. It's much. And in the Sifrei of Makapzel, I understood that the women of the cities of Europa, which I presume is Europe, shedarchen lelech tamid peruaroish. They're always going with their hair uncovered. Mutter lekros krishma connecton. You can say krishma connecton. Kaven well, the Isser is only on Jewish women. You don't have the But he said, "Kaven shekol hanashim darken bekach." So all the women should darken bekach. V'hine. So now this is going back on the Yivei Oimer. V'hine ein safek shemoide harav shehanashim halalu isura ka'abdi. For sure, the women are doing an isur. Sheharei dim peruah rosh b'nashim nesuas asher midaraisa k'mavur b'kesuvas b'chol poiskin. If you look at FLP Kain, savar sheleinin likros krishna connecting mashur shari. So this svara of everybody who's walking around with their hair uncovered will only work to matir saying kiddush or krishma in front of them So therefore, even if your wife, if you're in a town where everybody, where no one covers their hair, so for even for any wife, you can say Kriya Shema. If her hair is uncovered, even though make her retain, she has to have her hair covered in order to say Kriya Shema. But since in a place where everybody uncovers her hair, so then you're not. But however, the Iker Den, they're not allowed to. The woman is not allowed to. The woman's not allowed to do this. The woman's not allowed to go around with her hair uncovered. Since everyone has their hair uncovered, this din of it's usher to say Kriya Shema falls off in front of them, or to say Kiddush in front of them falls off. So that's the chiddush. However, they're still doing an Isra, and they still have to cover their hair. Again, the only heter are found for covering the hair would be with the rift. The rift doesn't bring it down. He brings it at the beginning of this teshuva here. Because of who. For Rav Alfazi Shaloi Hizker Mikol Zeh Klum. So the Rif never brought this down. So Amar Rav Chesed Shuk Be'isha Arva, Amar Shuk Kol Be'isha Arva, Amar Rav Shisha Shar Be'isha Arva, and the Rif never brought any of these. The Rif Ishmet Kol Zeh, and the Ravid says Misham Damrin, we say above. So Agbos, or the buttocks, they are not Bisham of Arva. Therefore, he holds Kol Shekain Tevak B'Shuk B'Sha Arva Kol. Kol Shekain, they're not Erva. So then, according to this, if they're not Erva, so that would be the only heter of. Now again, the Ravid rejects this. The Lo Men Hashem who's this isn't correct, but that shita, or that idea, would be the only heter to say that there's no inyan to cover your hair, or that Kol Isha would be mutter.